Hello, everyone. It's Sonia McDonald here, and I'm the CEO and founder of Leadership HQ McDonald Inc. and our Outstanding Leadership Awards. And you know that we are so incredibly committed and passionate around great, outstanding, kind, courageous, and inclusive leadership. And we are so excited and honoured to have the amazing Colleen Callander, who is an author. She was a former CEO of Sportsgirl. She's just recently launched an incredible book called Leader by Design. She's also got an incredible mentoring program for women. And she was just saying to me off this call when we were having a chat prior to going live around another great program that she has launched, which is very exciting as well. So welcome to the Leadership Lab Lives.
Hello, and we were also saying we have the same glasses, the same hair, and we are passionate about the same things. I just didn't get the memo about the black top today, but I'm so excited to be here with you and talk about all the things that you and I are passionate about.
We are so passionate. We are like when I was reading your bio, and obviously I follow you on a number of different social media channels. Like the messages that you and I have are so consistent, like really resonate with each other, because we are both really only about great leadership, and we know we need more great leadership here in Australia and across the world, but also women in leadership, like helping women step up is something that we're both passionate about. So I was really excited today about the live. So if you are watching, please comment, please ask some questions. Because I know that she's got some amazing insights around leadership. So I have got some questions to ask you because we have prepped you for this, which is very exciting. Looking back on your life, so the first question I'd love to ask you, looking back at your life, what events, experiences, and people have made a difference to where you are today?
It's a really good question, and it's such a big one. Like, where do you start? Because I think every single day we are adding to the person that we are with every experience, every interaction, every conversation we have. I always say, Sonia, we never arrive anywhere. We're never going to arrive at being a great parent, a great leader, a great communicator. We are always on this journey of learning every single day, which makes life exciting, right? But I think the big one for me, well, there's a few, but I think one of the big ones is I really credit my upbringing to the woman and leader I am today. And, I had this incredible upbringing in Geelong with two very different parents. And I really credit that, the human I am today and the mother and leader and wife and everything to that upbringing. And as I said, my parents are very different. My father came out to Australia when he was 14 years of age with, no money, a suitcase with his family, and, they worked hard. And my mum was very different. She was one of 12 children, and her father was an alcoholic, and her mother passed away when she was only 21. So she became this incredible nurturer. So I really credit my father for this hard work and my mother for this love and nurture that really kind of, I suppose, helped me grow into the person I am today. So yeah, I think our upbringing has a lot to do with what life turns out looking like.
So true. That's why being a parent or a guardian is the most pivotal leadership role. So it sounds like your parents have a lot of perseverance and grit as well, which it sounds like that you've picked up on. And that, yeah, absolutely, they make you who you are today. So when we think about leadership, right, and you know that in particular we want to build a world of kind and courageous leadership. What does courageous and kind leadership mean to you? Why do you think that's important today?
Yeah, I kind of look at them the same, but I look at them differently as well. So if I think about, courage as a concept, we know it's the Latin word for core, which means heart. And I believe that it takes a lot of courage and strength of heart to be a great leader, I think is the first thing. And, I think courage is something we have to learn and practice and build into our lives consistently. But I also think it's a real X factor for leaders if they have courage. When I think about courageous leaders, or maybe we all think about courageous leaders, we think about people that are willing to climb over obstacles, to really take risks, to put others before self, and to allow other people to have opinions and be experts in their field. I also think that courageous leaders don't always need to be the smartest person in the room. They're really happy to shine the light on others. And I think one of the biggest things about courageous leaders is that they give everyone the confidence to believe that anything is possible. So courage as a leader is, I think, an X factor. The kindness part, and as I said, they're different but go together. I think I talk a lot about kindness, and in my book, there's one whole chapter on the power of kindness. And I believe we're in a real transitional point right now. And I think we have this old era of leadership and this new era of leadership. And, when we think about that old era of leadership, we think about authority and lack of empathy and power and self-serving. And when I think about the new era of leadership, which is one I've been living in for a very long time, and I know one you've been living in for a very long time, we think about authenticity and humility and compassion and kindness. And, we really need to embrace this new era of leadership. I'm not sure about you, Sonia, but when I talk about kindness with leaders and people, some really embrace it and others get really scared by it because it's not the first word that comes to mind when you think about great leadership. And I know you and I challenge that. I absolutely believe that kindness is going to be the future for leaders. I, in fact, talk about it not only as the future for leaders, I talk about it as a superpower and one that we can trade for high performance and one that we can trade for loyalty and commitment and trust. I always like to clarify when I talk about kindness because kindness doesn't mean that people can fly under the radar. Kindness doesn't mean we don't hold people accountable or we accept underperformance or there are no rules or boundaries. Kindness actually means that we set clear expectations for people. We do hold them accountable. We have open, honest conversations. And we also push people beyond their comfort zone. And most importantly, we build human connections. I believe kindness, we need a lot more kindness, not only in our leadership world, we need a lot more kindness in our world. It doesn't matter where that is, if it's in your community, your home, your place of worship, it doesn't matter. Kindness is going to be the new superpower of the future.
I absolutely, my heart is singing while you're talking because I completely 150% agree with you. And hence, like even when we launched our leadership awards, I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years, right? Living and breathing this leadership space. And then when we launched our leadership awards in 2019, Colleen, some people were looking at me like, kindness, leadership, like why are we championing this? And then I said, it does. It's a superpower. It builds connection. It builds trust. Empathy and kindness is going to be the new wave of leadership. And then the pandemic hit, and then everyone was kind of like going, oh, I'm really getting it now. And I'm thinking, why did it take a pandemic for people to realize the power of kindness in this? Because you can still be strong as a leader and show kindness, right? So
kindness is not a weakness. Kindness is absolutely not a weakness. Kindness takes a lot of strength and courage.
It does. So I love hearing those. I love hearing those words. So why does leadership matter to you, and why does it play an important role in your life? Because obviously you've written a great book about it as well. So you're as passionate about it as I am. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I am. We could have 5 hours talking about this topic, but we won't. We'll bore everyone. But, leadership is something that I am absolutely, like you, so passionate about, and particularly about not only my leadership, but the leadership of everyone else around me, particularly women. And, when I talk about leadership, I'm not talking about just leading in business. I'm talking about leading in our own lives. And that doesn't matter, again, where it is, your community, your home. And leadership starts with self. And we really need to be leading in our own lives before we can lead anyone else. I often get asked, it's probably one of the questions I get asked the most is about leadership. And I always start with what leadership is not. It is not about a title, power, or rank. It has nothing to do with the size of your office, how many direct reports you have, how fat your paycheck is every month. It has nothing to do with any of that. Leadership is about the way we lead, the way we instill courage in others, the way we lead with kindness. I talk about leadership as a leader by design. And as you know, it's the title of my book because I believe that we all have the ability to become leaders by design. We can all become the leader we always wanted to be. We can always become a leader that, people want to follow. We have this opportunity every single day to influence people around us. It doesn't matter what you do. And so I think that's a really, really important part of leadership. I talk about leadership as, inspiring those around you, really empowering people to do their best, believing in people when they don't believe in themselves. Great leaders have a passion for a cause and something much bigger than themselves. So it's a space that I'm very passionate about. And I think we've got a lot of work to do in the leadership space, Sonia, which is what you and I are screaming from the rafters every day, because I do think we have a serious lack of great leadership in this country. And my second point is we need more women leaders in this country, which would potentially fix my first point. So we really have to encourage women to step up.
Yeah, Michael's just written a comment. It's all about your team, and I'm just part of the team. So it is team, like having a great team really makes a difference to leadership. And I agree around the women in leadership space. Hence, I mean, we do a lot of women in leadership in terms, I know you've got your incredible mentoring program. We run a lot of leadership programs for women. Is sometimes women kind of look at us and go, why are we on this women in leadership program? It should be about all. And I'm like, just go through the journey with us, because the thing is, I find that when you have a group of women going on a journey together and they're sharing, and you find the vulnerability and the when you're building that tribe of women in terms of building up their confidence and building up that inner leadership, that self-leadership, as you said, it makes such a difference when we're able to actually work with women to show them that they're in a potential to step up and lead, right? Because a lot of them kind of don't want to do that or feel that they can't. It's up to us to, and I agree around the great leadership. I mean, even when through this crisis, through this pandemic, when you look at some of our politicians, and particularly our female politicians around the world who have really shined during this time, is that we do bring different styles, right? We do bring, and I think that's why we need that power of the mix. That's why, that gender balance at the table, because of the differences that we bring. So anyway, I could talk about that for a really long time. It is, I do agree, we've got, and it can be quite, what's the word for it? When I look at the leadership we're seeing today, it can knock you down a little bit, and that's why I think us having that courage and having that voice to go, we're out there paving the way to help more women be great leaders. I mean, obviously anyone can be a leader regardless of gender or race or culture or anyone. But, particularly for women, if we can help women, it'll make such a difference to Australia and the world if we can actually get them into more leadership roles. I think that's so true. Okay. What leadership challenges are you facing in leadership challenges? And also, how are you overcoming them?
Yeah, it's a really good one. Again, I think we come back to that thing that we have this lack of great leadership. So it's all of our jobs to create not only leaders for this generation, but leaders for the next generation. And again, as you said, particularly women, because we do need that gender balance. As you said, men and women bring very different things to the table, and we need a nice balance of both. My purpose, Sonia, as a CEO is exactly the same as my purpose today, whether I'm doing my Mentor Me, my masterclasses, my leadership, my book, it doesn't matter. And someone said to me a few weeks ago, so Cole, what's your purpose now? You're not a CEO of a big fashion company. I'm like, we don't actually get to change our purpose. Our purpose is what it is. It's why we were put here. It's why we get up in the morning. It's what puts a fire in our belly. It's the message we want to share with the world, and why should anyone care? So my purpose today is exactly the same. It is about inspiring and empowering women to lead with confidence, to step up, to have a voice, to change the conversation, to change the rules. And not only take women on that journey, but we also have to take men on that journey as well. And we really need to create this new era of leadership, which is that leadership of kindness and compassion and humility. And so, we really need to move into this new era of leadership very quickly. To your point about COVID, Sonia, I believe what COVID did in a lot of cases was shone the spotlight on very poor leadership. And I call it the cream, rose to the top and the crap sunk to the bottom. And that's really what happened in COVID is the leaders that were already leading and knew their foundations and had people at the heart of everything they did and really understood why their brand existed, they rose to the top. And the ones that didn't know much of that and, were leaders for themselves, self-leadership, were the ones that sunk to the bottom. And we're still seeing that now. So there is this very big divide of leadership in this country. And again, we don't have enough cream at the top, which is where we really need to make some serious change.
So true. Let's do that together. Like, we can absolutely do that, because I think I agree. I saw the best and worst of leadership over the last years. And there were times where I thought, this is a lot more challenging than I thought it would be to try and, our whole purpose is to build a world of great leaders. And I'm kind of like seeing the stuff seeing the actions and messaging and behaviors of some of our key leaders going, what is going on? I thought, you know what? I can't control what's going on there, but I can control how I respond, and what I need to focus on are those people that we can lift up and inspire to do more and be more, right? And we need those people, shine a light on those people and empower those people, because the thing is, we need those people to step up into get into those leadership roles, so they're running our countries and our states and our companies, right? So I can anyway. I'm so passionate about it as well. It's just like, okay. What do you think? I know we've spoken about a lot of different skills, particularly around humility and kindness and compassion and courage. What do you think? What skills do you think leaders need today for tomorrow, as well as other than those skills?
I mean, there are so many skills, right? We could write a list. They've got to be good communicators, good listeners. They've got to have kindness. They've got to be visionaries. There's so many things, but I really distill it down to something quite simple. And I really think that the leaders of tomorrow need to understand that people are their greatest asset. That's going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And, leaders need to prioritize the needs and well-being of their people, because when we do that, it has an incredibly remarkable effect on your organization and your bottom line, which is also important, right? So, we live in this world where we are driven by profit, okay? And, there's no surprise that sales and margin and shareholder return and, all of those things are always at the forefront of leaders' minds. And I agree with all of those things being really important. We need organizations to be profitable because we want them to grow. We want them to reinvest. We want them to innovate. We want them to develop programs for women leaders. Money makes the world go round. We should never apologize for wanting to be profitable organizations. It's super important. But the leaders of tomorrow are going to focus on creating environments where people feel connected, where their work matters, where they contribute to things bigger than just the seat they sit in, where they feel part of just the job that they do, where people feel valued and empowered and engaged to do their best. That's where we're going to see incredible results of the future. So I turn things upside down. It might be my weird brain I have, because, I know there's this whole thing about profit. We've got to be profitable companies. I turn the equation and I say people with purpose and passion equals profit. So instead of profit being the first thing we think about, we need to think about the people with purpose and passion, because that is the equation that actually delivers you your profit at the end of the day. So the leaders that understand the value of people and put that investment in people and put a focus on people will be the ones that are going to shine in the future.
So true. And I think we're starting to see that as well, the ones that did focus on their people. Like I've been hearing so many stories of great organizations when obviously this pandemic hit, they really focused on the people over the profit. And now they're seeing the return on that go tenfold, because they had made that decision that we're not going to let anyone go. We're going to focus on the well-being of our people. That is such a great, I agree. That is so great. So who or what defines a great leader to you?
Again, there's so many, isn't there? I think there's 3 incredible rules of leadership. And that is lead self, lead others, and lead always. They're the three things I think about when I think about what defines a great leader. And, self-leadership, 70% of leadership is how we lead ourselves. And, how well we know our values and our self and our purpose, and how well we build disciplines into our lives and structures, and how well we set goals in our own lives, and how well we maintain positivity in the face of negativity. We have to be leading in our own lives before we can be leading anyone else. It's so important. And that's where leaders go wrong. That's where so many leaders go wrong, is so many leaders think leadership is about leading other people, but they actually don't know how to lead themselves first. So I think leading self is the first one. Leading others is so important. There's a big divide between leaders and managers, and we need both. But if you're a true leader, don't behave like a manager, because then you're not a leader. Leadership is bloody hard work. But there is a big, big difference. And I really encourage those managers that want to take that next level into leadership to really think about, becoming that leader by design. Managers create followers, leaders create other leaders.
Yeah.
It's very different. Managers are transactional, leaders are transformational. Leadership is about being in service to others. And the third one is lead always. I always say we can't turn up and shine when the spotlight's on us. We need to lead in good times and bad. Great leaders lead in good times and bad. It's super easy. Yourself, Sonia, it's easy to lead when things are good and sales are up and the team's winning and the scoreboard's high. That's easy. But when the chips are down, when things aren't going our way, when we get hit by a pandemic, when sales don't make their target, when we are in the eye of a storm, that's when we see true leadership. I always say, don't judge a crew in calm waters. It's just not, it's not what you're really seeing. Judge your crew in rough waters, and that is the leader and the crew. That's where you see great leadership. It's not easy. As I said, it's bloody hard, but God, it's worth it.
It is worth it. It is challenging. It is hard, but you know what? Leadership's about that, isn't it? It's not meant to be easy. It's supposed to be uncomfortable as a leader. So I think that's so true as well. What advice would you give leaders listening to this interview? I know we've given them a lot of insights and different ways of looking at leadership, but what advice would you, particularly anyone that's kind of listening to this and going, wow, where do I start? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I have lots of advice, but I don't have all the answers. I don't know it all. None of us do. And I think that's the beauty of this journey of life and journey of leadership, is that we're all working it out together. But I really think that, great leadership begins with the person, not the position. And that's what I always say to people. People get very excited when they get promoted into a new title and a new role. And I'm like, that's just a title. That's just one of the hats you're going to wear. That's just one of the roles you're going to play. You really need to think, who are you as a leader? And, knowing ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, our beliefs, our motivations, our limitations, our desires, our fears, that's where really great leadership starts, with self. And, one thing that I've seen with great leaders, and the thing that I believe all great leaders that I've met in my time have in common, is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because when we understand ourselves, that's when we're ready to lead others. Our values, our purpose, and know ourselves, they are the foundations of our house. I always say, if we don't build those foundations strongly, then that house isn't going to stand up for too long. Think about that. We build a house on shaky foundations. Not the best idea, right? We need to build the house, which is us, on very solid foundations. That's where we stand the test of time. That's where we stand the pandemic being thrown at us, or, whatever gets thrown at us at that time. So really, leadership starts with the person. And if you're a leader listening to this right now, really think about what kind of leader you want to be. You can become a leader by design. Don't just get up and be the leader that evolves around you because of where you are or what you're hearing. Be a leader of intention. Really get up every day and think about, how do I want to show up as a leader today?
I agree with that as well. It does start with self, and that self-awareness is key. Okay, how have you developed yourself as a leader too? How have you gone about developing over, gosh, I know that you've been in this space for career spanning over 30 years.
30 years now. I know that makes me sound very young. I know that makes me sound very old, Sonia. I've got very big people. I've got 25, 23 and 17. I've
Wow.
big children in my life, but I feel very old when people say you've been in leadership for 30 years, or your fashion retail career, but it is what it is. Let's own it. I would say, how have I developed myself? I think the number one thing is that I put in the work. As we said, it's not easy. If you want the easy road, then don't come on the leadership journey, because it's not. So you have to put in the work. And again, I talk about leadership as a lifestyle choice, right? So if you want to be an athlete, you've got to put in the work. You need to work hard every day. You can't just work 5 days out from the marathon. You've got to put in the work for a long time until you retire. So we have to put in the work. If you're a parent, you have to put in the work. Parenting is a lifestyle choice. It's for a long time, right? So I think the number one thing, and the thing that my parents taught me, was put in the work. My father said to me when I was 16 and said I was leaving school to go and be a sales assistant on the shop floor, but I had potential, because that's what I've been told. The words he said to me, I kind of struggle with that these days, because I think, imagine if my daughter came and said that to me, I'd be like, get back to school, you need to finish your education. But the words that my parents said to me was, work hard, love what you do, be passionate, and never give up. So I think that has always resonated with me in everything I've done. I think the other way to develop as a leader is to get a great coach or mentor. You coach a lot of people, Sonia. You've had a lot of leadership experience as well as I have, but surround yourself with great people. People that are going to lift you up, people that are going to challenge you, people that are going to push you out of your comfort zone, because we only grow when we step out of our comfort zone. And I think the other thing is to upskill yourself. If there's an area you're interested in, learn about it, research it, search people out and pick their brain, go and do a course, whatever it may be. But I think when I boil it down and just get that dew right there in the pot, I think it's put in the work. That's the number one thing.
It is putting in the work. It is getting a coach. And I love the analogy about the athlete, right? Because I find a lot of leaders just think they want the quick fix, and also I think some people, if you think about leadership as per a role or title, when they get to a management role and they're actually leading others, when they go from an individual contributor leading others, they think it's easy. So they kind of get into these roles going, oh, I'm here, I'm now a manager. And then they go, oh, actually, this is a lot tougher than I expected. Oh, I didn't prepare myself for this. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, they think that it's leading others and leading people, which is the greatest gift you can do, is be a great leader for others. It is hard. So start to develop and learn now. And if you are in a traditional role where you are leading others as a leader, keep sharpening your saw, right? It's so important. That's why sharpen your saw. Get Colleen's book, Leader by Design. So that's what I'm going to be plugging now. So make sure you get the book. Now, I'm sure that you can get the book from, where can you get the book from? I know you can get it from Booktopia,
Amazon, Dymix, and we say any good bookstore. I'm not sure why we say that. I'm just any bookstore, really. Or you can jump on my website, which is just colleencallander.com.au, and grab a copy there.
Excellent. And that's how people can reach out to you, through that website as well?
Yeah, sure. Website, LinkedIn, Instagram, it's all just Colleen Callander. You'll find me there.
Excellent. Is there anything else that you would love to say to everyone that's listening? Michael has been making a lot of great comments on our comment feed there. Thank you, Michael, for listening. And I'm sure that there's lots of people. I can see there's quite a number of people listening who are a bit shy to actually ask questions or comment. But if you do have any questions, please make sure you put them in the comments feed right now. So anything else that you'd love to say before we close off this incredible interview, which has been such an honor to speak with you today?
Thank you. I just love talking to like-minded people, particularly women. And, we have so much, as I said at the start, so much in common, and keep doing the awesome work that you're doing too, Sonia, because collectively we are stronger together. Women are stronger together. But I think one of the messages I might leave you with is, for everyone, is believe in yourself. no matter where you are on your leadership journey right now, because someone once said to me, Cole, I believe in you, when I didn't believe in myself. And if she hadn't have said that to me, I'm not sure where my journey would have gone. So really believe in yourself and believe in others, because there are going to be people in life that are going to tell you your dreams are too big, your goals are too ambitious, someone's done it before you, that's a crazy idea, you're not ready, you're not good enough, whatever it might be. And I'm going to tell you, don't listen to them. I'm going to tell you to believe in yourself, because if you're prepared to put in the work, if you are following your passion, you know, we talk a lot about purpose, but I say if you can't find your purpose, find your passion. It'll lead you to your purpose. If you're prepared to put in the work, then you will be successful. Success will find you. So please believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams.
I love that. Yeah, it starts with believing in yourself. It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for making such a difference and making such a great impact as a great woman, as a great mum, as a great, I don't know, leader, and all the different hats you wear as a leader. Thank you so much for making such a difference and being such a role model inspiration to so many of us, including myself. So thank you so much for being on this live today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone who joined.
Thank you. You stay safe and take care.
Thanks so much, Sonia. See you soon.
Bye. Bye.